Can you just do it as livable neighborhood, make it a livable neighborhood? Or does it matter?
Okay, hit it again. Mute it.
We're gonna get started. It's 9 a.m.
So we only play Saturday.
Morning.
Saturday night, we're gonna take Domino's, dinner at Domino's. Yeah, so I decided.
Well, good morning and welcome to January meeting on the first of the year. Thanks so much for sharing your time with me this morning. We're gonna start off with some announcements from Livable Neighborhoods, and then we'll get into our presentation. So I want to start off by saying if you didn't sign in on your way in, if you make some time over to the table to sign in, either now or on your way out, that would be great. I should probably introduce myself. Hi, I'm Ina Chappelle. I am the program coordinator with Livable Neighborhoods. So you will see my face every fourth Thursday at 9 a.m. this month until October.
And Mina, I think we need to congratulate you on your new position.
I'm still doing all the same things. I just have some dancing titles.
You're getting paid more.
So when we left off in October, we had some conversations about how revenue neutral might impact livable neighborhoods, and I wanted to update you all and let you know what those changes will actually look like in 2025. So the first one is that I'll be working super closely with our communications department. So you may notice if you come in, hi Ashley. You may notice when you come in that I'm not here all the time, and that's because I split my time here at the NRC and at City Hall sometimes. But if you want to come visit me in person, I can guarantee that I'll be here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon to 4. If I'm not here in the office, I'm probably at City Hall or out mingling, networking with the community. So unless I'm sick, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon to 4 p.m. Second announcement or update is that we're going to continue. We're committed to supporting neighborhoods in Wyandotte County. So that means that if you need a newsletter, printed newsletters in neighborhood, those are still offering those. We could also still do voice broadcasting. So if you still want to utilize phone tree, let me know. I just ask if you give me like a week's notice before you need those. I can definitely get them to you. And then also, we will be able to apply for grants later this year. So those are the changes that are still here. As well as, like I said, we'll continue to have our monthly meetings on the first Thursday. So you'll get to see my face every morning. And then we had an e-newsletter that went out every week. I wrote that back in, so it'll go out every other week. So if you're a community partner or you're just in the community, you want to share an update that you have, an event going on, if you give me a newsletter or a flyer 2 weeks out, I can put it in our newsletter that will go out to the broader community. So those are the big changes. That's all I have. If you have questions, I have cards on the table, or you can catch me afterwards.
I want to thank Ashley for making sure that she's being part of Livable Neighborhood and helping to support.
And with that, we're going to get right into our presentations. The first one is from Miss Diana Miles with our Public Works Department. And I put that presentation up there.
So while she puts that up, I'll introduce myself. My name is Diana Miles. I am the solid waste manager in Public Works. I have been in this role for a little bit over a year, although I've been with the UG for almost 20. So today we're gonna talk about just the customer service transition from 311 to waste management. So any calls, complaints, requests, any positive feedback that we want to get, you can call waste management now and you don't have to call 311. So I'll give you a little bit of the history, some of the outcomes that we're expecting and what to do starting February 1st. So a little bit of the history on how we handle these calls from residents in the community regarding trash and recycling is that at some point, the UG decided to take all of the calls in-house. So Waste Management was taking them, and so the UG decided, hey, we're gonna go ahead and take those calls, control it, monitor it, and address it. Well, there was really no set plan. There was no system, there wasn't staffing, so it was just kind of doing it as we go, right? So that was before some of our time, before my time. And so in 2022, when I became the solid waste interim manager, I had to really figure out how to make improvements with that system, what we were doing. We had no one in the division at that time. I was by myself. I had to figure out how to still address all of the calls that we were getting while also doing my regular job as the office manager for Public Works. So in that, we made some improvements. We cut down some of the people that really touched those complaints. We had 4 to 7 people that really touched each complaint. So we broke it down to 3 people. The resident would call 311. I would look at the call and then I would send it to Waste Management and work with them to get that addressed. So fast forward to today, we have Ms. Lori Peaches that is here today. She is a program specialist and she is the one that handles the majority of the customer service calls the residents back, does the education and all that. And she also has collaborated a lot with Waste Management on how to make improvements. How do we address these issues faster and more efficient? However, although with all those improvements and all the changes that we've made behind the scenes, it is still not a perfect system. So that brings us to deciding, why wouldn't we give it back to Waste Management, a company that is a multi-billion-dollar company that is equipped for all of this? They have an app, they have the website, they have a customer service center, they have the staffing, they have the program for that. So that brings us to Miss Susie. I'm going to give you an example. Miss Susie is so upset her trash was missed. We hear that every day. So her trash was missed, and so she's asking, who does she call? Does she call BPU because that's who she pays? Does she call 311 because in that little line it says to call 311? Does she put it on social media because she's so frustrated and she knows that residents and everyone will agree about her frustrations? Or does she call her commissioner or her mayor, or the county administrator's office? She also can contact the news. We've had some people not happy with the service or not being heard, so they contact the news. So then we create all of this where it's confusing, it's not really providing good customer service, and then you just have all these outlets to, give your complaint. So on the next slide, I'm going to show you. So Miss Susie is very frustrated, so she decides to call the commission office. So if today she was to call the commission office, her commissioner would then forward it to the county administrator's office. They will look at the complaint, the email, the call, and they will forward that to the Public Works director. And hoping that he's at his desk because he's going to forward that to me. So then I get that, and then I send it to the team, which is Lori the majority of the time. She looks into it, and sometimes it's even more confusing because she's had already addressed it. So she has to go back and call the resident to see if it's the same complaint or a different one. And then she contacts Waste Management. So that one call to your commissioner creates all of this, and this is hoping that everyone is at their desk or by their phone to answer your complaint. So it takes anywhere from a few hours to a few days. So that is kind of the confusion and some of the processes that happen today. So with the change, we hope to have these outcomes provide good customer service. That is a priority of the commission. Accountability, we always get questioned, how are you holding waste management accountable? Well, it's on both ends, right? In the contract, it says waste management should be taking these calls. They're responsible for customer service. That's how we're holding them accountable. Being proactive, we need to get in front of the problem. If there's a problem, if there's an area that we need to address, we need to get in front of it. Right now, we're just chasing the problem. Chasing the problem doesn't give us time to even educate. A lot of the issues that we find every day is that sometimes residents don't know how to properly place their trash and recycling out on the curb. So this gives us more time to be proactive and provide a better service. So beginning on February 1st, you have different options to call waste management. You can call them at the 1-800 number. You can also create an account on the app, or you can go on the website. In order to create an account on the app or on the website, you will need a customer ID number, and Waste Management should be sending this week or next week a form like this. It's a letter giving you your customer ID number. If you don't get it by February 1st, you can call the 1-800 number and they can provide that for you. Because of the snowstorm and everything, there have been some delays. So hopefully you get this before the 1st. And then also in your DP bill, you should have received one of these little inserts. It tells you the information as well. So any questions regarding the transition?
Right now, on my Wyco app, one of my choices right away is they missed my trash pickup. So will we be altering that to make sure that it says call 1-800 whatever?
Yes, our team is looking into that. We will not have that option on there.
Okay. I mean, I think you could still have the option. Just tell them what to do.
Yeah, we'll have to work with the IT team, yeah.
My experience with calling waste management in the past has not been helpful. They've been snippy with me, and now it's not now. Snippy with me, telling me that my trash had already been picked up when I saw it out there and I put it out by 7 o'clock too. And, it's 311 was a much more positive experience than calling waste management. Hopefully there'll be a change, but how do we make sure that they follow through?
So every week, they will be sending a report to our division and we'll be working on that and analyzing all of the data that they provide. So in your instance, I'm not sure why they were snippy. However, when you would call, if you even call this management today, they will not take your information. They don't have your account information. They don't have a photo. So if we were to use their system, the driver is able, and once we get smart trucks out in Wyandotte County, the driver is able to take a photo of your home if the trash was not placed out there, or put a note into the system as to why they did not collect the trash. We're going to catch up to times with that.
So they are supposed to be telling folks to call City Hall instead of them.
So right now, until February 1st, they will say call 311.
Okay, I just want to make sure that my friend had that issue this last week, so yeah.
Yes, I think I had someone send me an email about their frustration creating an account on the app. And she said, I saw the information and I need a customer ID. Yes, that's not available until February 1st. So,
Well, we want to get on ball.
Are they charging more to provide the service to the UG? Okay, good. And then second, did you have like a document that showed like how many people were calling 311? How many were calling waste management? How many were calling their commissioner? How many were calling their mayor? Just out of curiosity.
we don't, just because we don't have a system to track that. The commissioner, the county administrator, the mayor's office, send an email. That's not tracked in the data that we get from 311.
Just curious.
Now, I know that you hope this system works well, but let's say you do get a snippy response.
Mhm.
I'm actually Prairie Village. I don't use waste management, but I've called our people and they don't help us. So what do we do after, when we're not satisfied with waste management? Then we do.
So if you're not satisfied and you have called, after you have called and you're not satisfied, then you can call 311 and request that we return your call. We will look into that. We need to know some of that information, because a lot of
I'll be
times,
back in about an hour. I
a lot of times, people do, you know, take that on social media or to other people, and we don't even know about it. So
So when this all first started and we were referred back to 311 instead of waste management, it was under the umbrella of the city was going after the contract, the differences. Did that get worked out or were you guys still smile on your face, but did anything get resolved from that?
it is, I think it was a
Constant
wash.
battle.
It was a wash.
It's called a truce, I guess.
Yes.
Line. The first one is, will this be the same system for requesting recycled to come back and be picked up?
Yes.
And then, is this a trash week or a holiday week? And then should wait.
Regular. Yes, and we do have the holiday trash schedule magnets over on the table with the new 1-800 number on there.
Okay. Next up, we have Laura Shaw. Thank you for correcting me. And she's going to talk to us about the Bistate Sustainable Reinvestment Corridor.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for having us here this morning. I'm part of the project team for the long name project, the Bistate Sustainable Reinvestment Corridor. I'm here with my colleague, Shalon Kubik. I almost said her maiden name. And we are the outreach team. So we are out in the community trying to let people know what's happening with this project and take your feedback. This is a project that is led by the Mid-America Regional Council with funding secured by Congressman Emmanuel Cleaver on the Missouri side and Congresswoman Sharice Davids on the Kansas side. It is a corridor that is looking at transit, economic development, and community opportunities as far east as Independence on the Missouri side, and then all the way to the Legends here on the Kansas side. It's a 24-mile corridor. It's a full of diverse communities, unique communities. But what we're really trying to do is figure out a way to improve transit opportunities along that corridor, and then to improve the development opportunities that would come along with improved transit. So if you could show the next slide. So we have community partners all across the corridor, including the Unified Government, Kansas City, Missouri, Jackson County, Missouri, Independence, Sugar Creek, the KCATA, and of course, as I said, the Mid-America Regional Council. We've got representatives from all of those entities that are part of our project team that meet regularly to talk about this project. So the purpose of the project is to bring these entities, these municipalities together to focus on priorities for safety and equal access to economic opportunity through transportation. We're looking at sustainable strategies for businesses, community services, neighborhoods, and a framework and land use policies that will allow municipalities to choose projects that support long-term community growth. So the project is very involved. Over the last few months, the project team has been looking at the ways to impact all of these different issues. So zero emission transit, public infrastructure, energy efficient housing, equitable transit oriented development, pedestrian and bike infrastructure. And again, this is a transit study, but it's not just about improving transit. It's about how do we improve transit, but also add all of these layered elements into it to really improve our neighborhoods. So the big impacts of the project are going to be, hopefully, it all moves forward as planned. Improved options, including bus rapid transit. That's really the big one. I think that the project team is focused on right now, how to improve that in east-west way across the corridor. Frequency and efficiency. And there's even studying, I mean, we looked at, the project team is looking at all different modes, including, I saw Gunnar come in, he's hiding in the back somewhere, but one of his favorites is the aerial tramway consideration. Y'all probably know, I didn't know this until I started working on this project, but many years ago, there was an aerial tramway that connected, I guess, the West Bottoms to the bluffs on the Kansas side. So the project team is even looking into unique opportunities like that. An investment in sustainable infrastructure, bike and pedestrian infrastructure, community amenities, as I said, and economic development. And then a big push of the program is identifying funding opportunities. As I said, this first phase of the project is funded with federal funds that came from our representatives here. They want us to identify projects that they can chase additional funding for. So we are trying to prioritize those and seek those out and find ways to make those projects happen. So just a little bit more about the things that the project team has been studying and the things that we want to bubble to the top. So we're looking at the built and the natural environment, and how we can improve workforce training opportunities and programs. Public safety is a big part of this project. Emmanuel Cleaver was at our kickoff in August of last year, and he hit the public safety element really hard. The improved transit is only improved if people feel safe using it. So there's many public safety elements. I met because Mina connected me with folks with MOXA here that work on the KCK side, the Metropolitan Organization to Counter Sexual Assault. Did I say that correctly? I hope I did. I met with those folks, and that was a big concern. If we make improvements, we got to make them so that they're safe, so people feel comfortable using them. Mobility hubs are an important element of these projects because we want people to be able to, maybe walk to a place where they can get on a bus rapid transit line and then maybe get a bike share system to take like the last mile to get where they, oh no, you're fine. Where they need to go, giving people different options. There's, car share opportunities, there pedestrian, bike, connecting to the Kansas City streetcar. There are all of these ways to make sure people have many opportunities. So mobility hubs are a big consideration. I said earlier, land use plans, zoning changes, design guidelines and standards, ways that we can bring the municipalities together and hope that they will figure out how to do that in a way that works concurrently and in a complementary way. Sustainability is in the name, the big long name of the project. So climate change resiliency is an important consideration. Again, community assets, diversity of housing options. I've been hearing as I speak to people here on the KCK side that is a really important consideration over on this side and across the metropolitan area, of course. We're also looking at socioeconomic environments. Workforce development is an important element. Childcare. There's not enough childcare across this corridor. If our team has looked at the number of children that live in the corridor area and the number of childcare opportunities, and there's just not enough. So how can we, here in the middle, you see there's a picture of the Emmanuel Child Care Center on the Missouri side, which grew out of a project like this. It was initially a very small center that served, a couple dozen children. And when they brought everybody together and looked at the opportunities and looked at the needs, they were able to build this new center that serves many more children. So how can we use what we're studying and what we're trying to do to implement new facilities like this? historically underserved communities are important consideration, and of course, in environmental justice areas.
So I've got a question for you real quick. So when you talk about childcare, are you thinking about trying to get childcare at a hub?
That is certainly something that would be a consideration, because we want people to be able to.
If they can get to the hub, then they can.
Yes,
Leave their kids. so they
exactly.
come
You've
and-
got it. You've
Okay.
got it. Exactly. That is exactly what this project is trying to do. Yep. So again, as sustainability is an important part of the name of this project as it is now. Transit alternatives are important, roadway infrastructure improvements, private use, environmental vehicles, electric vehicles, excuse me. I knew when I said that, that wasn't right. Autonomous vehicles. I'm not so sure about those myself yet, but we'll see. And I think that's coming, but I'm willing to wait and see how that rolls out a little bit more before I jump in one. But I am a cyclist, so bicycle infrastructure is important to me, and I have a scooter that I just got, and I'm ready for the weather to change so I can get out there and be out there with my little helmet on my scooter. And pedestrian infrastructure, all these things important. As you said, maybe you walk to get on a BRT line to connect to where your childcare is, and it's close. You can then walk to your place of employment. Those are things we're trying to make happen with the project. So this slide just shows you, it's a little hard to understand, but it shows you the layering of all these things we're talking about and how to make them connect and work together and be efficient and be the elements that the community is proud of and wants to use and wants to be part of. So I'm going to hand out these little pages. I hope I have enough. And I'm going to ask you all to do a little exercise here and tell me about your community.
Hey, Lena, go back to that last slide, please. There was a question about that one.
Yeah.
I was what, I'm 69, I hadn't heard of.
The street.
737th Street. Okay.
US.
Yeah.
When I
There
see,
was a question about where 169 is running in there.
can you, it says I-69. When I-
Eight Avenue right here.
It's a chemistry.
Minnesota. And this is Armstrong. 10th Street, 9th Street, 8th Street, and 16, I-69 top. And again, this is just an example. This isn't a development plan. This is.
It's not to scale, but it is where they took a segment out of that. And so the project team has been really looking at the data, and they've been zooming in on areas to really look at the existing conditions in areas along the corridor there to really pick out and pull out like what's there. What are we looking at? What does the housing look like? What do the childcare elements look like? What does transportation look like? The economic development, things like that, so that they can build an existing conditions report that's due to come out in early February, I believe. So they're building this whole profile of what the existing conditions look like along the corridor to then be able to then come back and build and say, okay, these are recommendations of what can be done here to change the face of this corridor.
When we say corridor here, are we talking about State Avenue or are you talking about the entire?
If one of your favorite places on the corridor is on the Missouri side, you're welcome to put that.
Oh.
So I really am interested in knowing, how you feel about your community.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Did that answer the question earlier about I-69?
It's like it's an interstate and it's.
Yes, when I see I before a highway, I think of an interstate, like I think of I-70. So I'm wondering, are we getting a new interstate through here? Okay. all
And I
right.
think Gunnar can clarify, but 7th Street is like a major throwaway. So I think that's where the I-69 is coming in.
It's Highway 69.
Yes.
US, not
Yes,
Interstate
that's-
69.
that's-
Thank you for pointing that out though, because that might be something that we need to
Change that.
change on that so that we avoid that confusion.
Yeah, so the project team has been, as Shalon said, has been looking at the entire corridor. They have put together a almost 300-page report, which we'll talk more about here. I'll give you more information about how to learn about that in a moment, but they have taken previous studies, they have taken data from Mid-America Regional Council, they've done their own data collection. So they know so many details about where the population densities are, where the existing transit hubs are, where people live, where people work, where things are missing. And the idea is to take that information and from that, look at where the best opportunities are for transit lines, for bus rapid transit, or maybe an aerial tramway, or maybe a streetcar, or maybe additional pedestrian lanes. And at the end of this month, they are going to come out with some recommendations for what those high density lines might look like. Question?
So what is like, obviously people fill this out, high density, everyone thinks of like Legends or downtown, but there's places in between that, yeah, if you do the data, they don't have right now a ton of economic opportunity, but because they don't have access. Is there a plan to address those areas? Because they always want to go to those big ones, but then there's the middle where people live and need these things, but they don't pop up on that my favorite place necessarily. And so is there a plan to address those that maybe aren't as high economic opportunity, but people need these type of things and they can't get that without these resources?
Yes, the answer is yes. That's the short answer. The long answer is the financial investment is going to be, you're going to get the most return on that when you go places where there's more likely to be used in higher density. But that's what we're here today to do, is to take your input and to find out what areas you're talking about that need that kind of investment.
Yeah, they can't have an opportunity. They don't have people go wait.
Yes, it is a weird thing because, I've talked to people in your neighborhoods who say, yeah, we really need this here. Because people would go here if we had a way to get here, and they're not going there now. So the data isn't necessarily, like you're saying, not necessarily showing that it could be a high density area, but maybe it could be if it had the right investment. So yeah, those are all considerations. So another question is.
I just had it, and maybe it's for Commissioner Bynum as well as you, but I think of the bridges that are not working right now because of they're just down and people can't get where they need to go.
Absolutely.
Is this within this plan to address those things, or is that totally a separate thing?
Donna, maybe you can answer that better than I can.
The answer is yes to both. There are separate projects going on right now and studies going on right now for specifically the Kansas Avenue and Central Avenue Bridge, both at the KDOT level and the local level regarding their feasibility. This study is participating and supporting that effort by doing a comprehensive bridge study of all the bridges that do that east-west connection that are within this study area, which includes Central Avenue and Kansas Avenue.
Is the Turner Bridge part of that?
Nope.
Interesting.
There's a unified government also got money, and this is a public works project, so they can speak to it better than I can, but they got money from KDOT to do a bridge study in Wyandotte County. Maybe Kansas City, Kansas, because I think this public works is a city budget item. Sorry. But that study is for any bridge. So think of the like tens of thousands of bridges in Kansas City, Kansas, and the amount of money, which is like $350,000, if I'm remembering that correctly. Maybe if you advocate for it. So that's my answer to that question.
To who? Because I mean, we can't get to State Avenue easily without going over railroad tracks and messing up our tires and the buses for the schools and.
Just to piggyback on that, thank you so much, because I think that's really helpful to draw that information about Kansas Avenue and Central Avenue into this larger context.
Yes.
Turner Bridge is a state-owned bridge. The other two, which I will just tell you, could easily cost 100 million each. are locally owned. They are owned by the city of Kansas City, Kansas. We've been to Topeka to talk to the Secretary of Transportation. We've been to Washington DC to talk to Senator Moran, Senator Marshall, Sharice Davids, Emmanuel Cleaver, because he likes KCK and he wants to help us. We are turning over every leaf, every rock to get help for those bridges. So that is a very important distinction, and thank you for making it. Turner Bridge is, and you know this already, partly being held up by the fact that the railroads basically just get to do whatever they want. And if you didn't know that, you know it now. They're extremely powerful, and KDOT is at their mercy. And so finally, some level of compromise has been made with the railroad to allow for when can the construction, be underway and when can it not. And it's very frustrating. I feel your pain.
Well, and that's good to know, but I'm just saying if that's, which I didn't know if that was exactly who was holding that, 'cause, the rumor.
It's true.
It's true. Hey, a lot of people from Turner would go down and stand by the railroad tracks. I mean, just saying, do something. It's been long enough. Plenty long enough. Sorry. To take up your time on that. I was just curious because that's all allowing us to get to that corridor
Right.
on both ends.
100%.
Of the state.
It is critical input for this process.
Yeah, it is.
So Commissioner Bynum, while we're at the north-south, I want to give it a 18th Street, who's going to be shutting down in February. That's just one more north-south corridor. And how long is that going to be shut
A
down?
couple of years. It's a complete rebuild.
Yeah.
K-
And is the, and
It is
so
a
here's my,
KDOT project.
right, is the railroad gonna affect that one too, because it's a total tear down? I don't know. I'm just
I
asking.
mean, you can only imagine.
Guys, I'm just mentioning it to you. So you might as well start figuring out how you're gonna get from here to there.
Don't tell the messenger.
No, I gotta find the same route you do every day. So I'm just saying, and so 6:35 is.
Not to, sorry.
No, I think it's
Yeah.
a great conversation because what we're trying to look at is a comprehensive approach here. If that hasn't been clear in my rambling about all the different things we're doing. And these things all, the barriers that you're talking about are all considerations in the existing conditions that we've been looking at over the last 6 months or so. So I have, in addition to this little exercise I handed out that I would love you to fill out and leave for me so that we have your input, I have some assignments for you. So I'd love for you to stay connected with the project. If you would like to request a speaker for, we'd be happy to come out and meet with any of your groups. If you just want a one-on-one meeting with us or there's somebody you think that our project team should meet with to talk about this project, you let me know that. We are planning a public meeting over here on the KCK side, probably late February, possibly early March. Details will be coming out about that very soon. If you've got a neighborhood group that you want us to speak to, we'd be happy to do that. Coming in within the next month or so, maybe 2 months, we'll have an online survey where you can give additional input about the project and about your community and what's important to your community. This QR code here on the bottom corner will take you to the website, but it's also at marc.org/Bistate. And if you have additional questions or want to reach out, you can reach out directly to me. My email is Lara, LARA @Parson, PARSONKC.com. But there's also a contact email on the website. If you prefer to do it that way. Go ahead to the next slide, please. So here's what's coming next and other things I want you to pay attention to. We've been talking about this existing conditions report. I ran through the draft of it yesterday. It's full of fascinating information. So if you're interested in that, it will be coming out at the end of the month, early February, and it'll be available on that website. Again, if you go to the website, you can sign up for updates. And so if you want it in your inbox, let us know. We sign up that way and then you'll get it directly.
The proposed alignments that are under consideration will also be announced around that same time. So you'll want to look at that and see, okay, this alignment's taking me through an area that I can connect to easily, but that one's not. Let us know what you think. Again, we've got two public meetings planned. The one I mentioned here on this side at the end of February, and then we'll have another one probably in the April timeframe. So stay connected to that. The survey's coming. That'll be again on the website there. So if you sign up for the updates, you should get information related to that. And then we would love for you to talk about this project out in the community. We'd love for you to talk to elected officials. We'd love for you to tell folks about it. We'd love for you to give us your input because we want to make sure people know this is happening. We want to get some excitement around it. We want to chase the federal funding that might support the projects in this whole big study. And we would love to have you all help with that. So if you haven't already, we've got a project brochure over here on the table. We'd love for you to take one of our sustainable bags, grocery bags. We've got some stickers and some clippy magnets. We'd love for you to take our swag and show off our stuff around the community. So yeah, I would take any more questions. Yes,
Can I ask you an online question?
of course.
Leah says, do we think the project will be affected by any executive orders issued on Monday? High question, but
I will tell you that the people at the Mid-America Regional Council and the project team are paying close attention to that, and we just don't know yet. The funding that we got originally should not be affected. We should definitely get through phase one. It's a 3-phase multi-year project, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens in phases 2 and 3. We hope not. Yes, ma'am.
That's a great segue to my question. I noticed you have your date for phase 1. Do you have tentative dates for phases 2 and 3? Years even.
Yeah, I think that phase 1 is supposed to wrap up sometime in the summer, and that's supposed to be a recommendation for an alignment route that would go across the corridor. And then phase 2 would start immediately, assuming that we can continue to get the funding. It would be over the next year, 18 months, and then phase 3 would follow. We're looking at probably 12 to 18 months for each phase.
So 2029? Is my math right? I'm not good.
Something like that.
So a year 26, half of 26, 27, half of 28, 29, 2028 or 2029.
Yeah.
The estimate.
But again, there may be projects, there may be smaller projects that we can fund and get implemented as we go. So, I wouldn't say necessarily that to expect in 2029 a big announcement that we're going to have a, thing all the way across the corridor. I think that it may come in chunks.
Phases, yeah. Thank you.
Just curiosity. Is it anticipated that there'll be changes to Lewis and Clark Viaduct, or will it go through West Bottoms?
That's still all part of the consideration.
Okay.
Yeah, and based on what I have pulled out of the existing conditions, they're not anticipating, coming in and making changes to existing routes. Like, we're not going to put in necessarily a whole new, interstate or.
No, but I mean, like
across the line.
bike routes or pedestrian routes
Yes.
across the viaduct versus going through the West Bottom, could be a lot easier to accommodate pedestrians.
Yes, yeah,
Just curious.
yeah. I wish I could tell you.
Well, considering the development in West Bottom, West Bottom might be a good choice.
Yeah.
thank you for all your questions and feedback. We are going to move on. Thank you so much, Laura.
Sorry.
And I did have your contact info. Alright, let's move it on along. When I call out your organization, if you would unmute if you're online or if you're in person, come to the front, introduce yourself and limit your update to 3 minutes if possible. And our first word is USD.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Mine will be quick and short. I just want to give an update and let everyone know. As you all know, our voters passed the bond in November, and we want to thank our residents for voting and supporting that bond initiative and proposal. I'm going to put in the chat a link just provides an update on where we are as a school district and the phases for that bond. So we want to make sure we're as transparent as possible and there's information. And you know, there's a long process. It's going to be a while before you start seeing any buildings going upright, but we just want to keep you informed about that. The other thing, which is challenging and not new, as many of you know, the new administration recently rescinded guidance barring immigration raids on schools, hospitals, churches, and other areas that's deemed sensitive. So many of our parents and some of our staff have concerns. So I just want to share with the community and my KCK and Wyandotte County friends and family that our school district, we are aware of this executive action. And what we are doing, we're actively reviewing the changes to understand the implications that it could have on our school district. So we are also seeking guidance from the Kansas State Department of Education. So right now, we're waiting to hear to see what we're going to do. How do we address if ICE shows up at one of our schools, what we can do and what we can't do? So we all have to work together and understand the next steps as we move forward. So I want to thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Edwin. We have Turner USD 202.
Good morning. Sorry, I'm not on video today. This is Lauren with the Turner School District. Just want to echo Edwin's comments there at the end. We are doing the same, and ultimately our goal is for our schools to be a safe space for all students where they feel safe and secure coming to school. So we are doing the same. And then just the only other point I have is we do have the Wyandotte County Spelling Bee coming up. Piper School District is hosting it this year. So that will be on February 1st. But that is all I have for this month.
Thank you, Logan. KCK Fire Department.
Hello, this is Kelly Littlefield. I'm remote today. And from the fire department, the information I have is the department statistics for 2014. We ran 35,628 calls for service. Of those calls, 22,886 of them were medical related. We ran 496 fires. We ran 465 calls for food on the stove left unattended cooking. And we ran 2,215 automatic alarms, and that would be residential and commercial buildings. Our safety tip for the month is space heater safety, and I can send that where you guys can take that link. And cooking safety, the tragic apartment fire that everybody saw in the news yesterday in Independence was caused by somebody putting food on the stove to cook and left it unattended. And 4 people unfortunately lost their lives in that fire. So food on the stove is a huge problem. If you're gonna cook it, stay with it. So that's our safety tips for the month. We have a current fire academy with 10 recruits, and they're slated to graduate May the 8th. And I think that's it for me. Any questions?
Thanks, Kelly.
You're welcome.
We have KCK Police Department.
Morning, everybody. I'm Captain Davis of KCK PD. I'm over community policing. I actually just returned back from some lengthy training, so I'm still going through all of my emails. But I do have a couple updates for you. Our community policing cops Christmas went really well this year. We were able to adopt 70 families and get gifts for about 203 kids. So that was a good event. We're starting to do our planning for community events. The first one's going to be the Chiefs Peace Walk, which is held in April. I think this year is going to be April 12th, but we'll finalize that and get it out for you pretty soon. Then we're planning on our normal open houses for our divisions as well. We're going to try our back to school event. That was a pretty big hit last year in the Chiefs football camp. So as we get those dates, I'll make sure that you all know about them. One date that we do have though is February 13th. We're going to be hosting a recruiting event out at Children's Mercy Park for Sporting KC. So it's actually going to be pretty nice. We're going to have some static displays out there for people who are interested in joining the PD. They'll be able to kind of check out our equipment. They'll also be able to do the application, the physical testing, and the oral boards all on site. So kind of trying to streamline and get an event where anyone who is interested in applying for the PD can come out and they can get all of those steps taken care of right away. So that's pretty exciting. It's one of the newer things that we're trying to up our recruitment right now. And I think that is all I have. Cindy, you have questions for me? Yes, sir.
How is our dispatch shortage coming along?
I did not check on our dispatch shortage. I just asked the PD. When I was out there, which was 2 years ago, we were 20 short in dispatch. I can tell you from the field and what I'm seeing is we're at least able to run our own division airs again, which is a plus. And I know about a year ago, we implemented the part-time dispatchers, so we can have our retired dispatchers come back and help with those calls for service and things like that, fixing it up. At least help out our dispatchers that are there, but I don't have those numbers. We can check on it though. You have a question?
Just congratulations on the.
Thank you.
Academy. That is so cool.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Anybody else? Thank you. David. Wyandotte County Sheriff.
I'll check in.
Good morning. Sorry I couldn't be there. I have back-to-back meetings. And I will say Captain Davis really sold herself short in her accomplishment. She's a recent FBI NA grad, and that's huge in our world. So congratulations. But I don't really have anything, but I am willing to take any questions should there be any.
Question before we move on. Thank you.
You bet.
Anybody from DPU?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Good morning. As you guys may know, I'm Nick Moreno from Board of Utilities. It's an exciting time right now. We have a new general manager in Jeremy Ash, who started effectively on January 1st, as well as a new board chair that was elected last night, Senator David Haley. So one of the goals is to renew our focus on community. So we want to kind of come to you all and meet you on where your groups are. So if you want to set up something, not just with me, but with an executive, maybe our GM as well, reach out to me. I have my card here. I'll put some over here and we can come there. We don't want to just talk to you. We want to make it a roundtable discussion, make it go both ways, because we want to hear from the community on what we can improve as well. And also, as a part of that community focus, we want to invest in doing workshops out in the community. And that is another way that we're going to ask for your help and where we can best effectively use our time to meet with the community, gather information, and able to share our services and programs that aren't as easily accessible, especially some of the state funding that is available for people for utility assistance, weatherization, and some of those online applications can be a little difficult for people who aren't as tech savvy as some people. So any questions for me, I'm happy to answer those.
Request.
Yes.
So I got to meet some of your new administrators.
Okay.
That came on with Jeremy, the new CFO and some other people, because they were in Topeka talking to our delegation, that county delegation. So I would invite them here so we can see their faces.
Yeah.
You know, and let them tell us a little bit about what's going on.
We actually
what
have
their plans are.
a scheduled presentation on, is it May, right?
Yes.
We're going to come out, we're going to bring Jeremy out and a few of our new executives and talk about all of that for you.
Well, and I know they're really pushing to get out into the community and speak to a lot of different groups in the community. And so what I'll do is I'll send you a list.
Okay.
And so will Commissioner Bynum, I know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Irene, the chief of staff of the mayor's office, couldn't join us today, but Crystal will have an update when I get to communications. So then next is the DA's office.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I appreciate you all for allowing me to speak, and I also understand KCKPD and the sheriff went very quickly, so allow me to try to compete. So one, thank you to all of you who came out to the swearing in at the courthouse. It was quite the festivities. We had some sweet potato pie and some peach cobbler, and you all let me back in. So thank you for that. It's one. Number two, concerning community involvement, our office has the community liaison board as well as the faith-based liaison board and the victims liaison board. What is that? The liaison board is an opportunity for community members in those particular sectors to be able to sit down with my office, specifically me, on a quarterly basis to give me your thoughts, what's important, what's not important, as well as me giving you an update. And I can go in more detail in those meetings, not to take up too much of your time here. And so I would encourage you all to go to our website, to call Jonathan Carter at our office, 913-573-2851. If you are not on one of those liaison boards, I would strongly encourage you to get involved. It's a huge part of what we do in this office and how we have been able to work collaboratively with law enforcement to reach those historic lows in our violent crime. And we want to keep that going because your input is extremely important. Lastly, thank you, Wyandotte County, for always being involved and being willing to tell us what's on your mind. That's all I got. Any questions for me?
What was the young man's name again?
Jonathan Carter, and his number is 913-573-2851. And you can call him to get on any of these boards. And if you say, hey, Dupree, I don't want to be on a board to meet with you on a quarterly basis, our next meeting will be in March for respectively all of those different boards. But you want to sit and talk with me, still call Mr. Carter and you can sit down and we can have a good cup of government coffee. But you can have that with me. And if you don't feel like calling him, Jonathan, can you wave your hand in the back, please? Could you wave your hand? There you go. You can see him and get on the calendar and we can make it happen. Any other questions? Thank you, guys. Yes, ma'am.
Are the boards described on the website?
Yes, ma'am. They're on the website. And when you go in and you fill out the application, then it's a follow-up and Mr. Carter will call you and talk to you and figure out which one is best suited. Because some people don't want to say, hey, I'm a victim or was a victim of crime. And we created that a few years back because we had victims who were saying, look, you all need to do better with communicating with us. And I said, well, I don't want to just wait till a person is a victim of crime to hear what we can do. How about we put this board together of people who are removed from their situation, but can come in and educate us on how inside the courthouse we can better serve them as victims of crime. And so that's what that board is. And so sometimes folks won't put, victims liaison board, they'll just fill out the community liaison board. And then when Mr. Carter or myself talk to them, they'll say, hey, I was a victim of crime 4 years ago, and this is what it was. I would love to sit down and talk. And then we bring them on in. So whatever you feel comfortable sharing, and likewise with the clergy aspect of faith-based, we want folks who are in that community, who talks with their parishioners and so on and so forth, to be able to know what's going on and let us know their thoughts and concerns.
Thank you.
I would just like to know, Captain Davis, congratulations again, but the only reason why you beat me is because they have more questions for me. I'm just saying. Thank you, guys.
UG Strategic Communication.
Morning, everyone. Morning. Crystal McFetters, for some of you who don't know me, I'm gonna go quick, I promise. I have a lot, but I'm gonna move quick. So right now we have our senior tax rebate program that kicked off January 2nd through April 15th. We are encouraging everyone there's so much savings that many seniors qualify for, but we've been really pushing to get the word out. Had some media coverage about it, but please, there's a huge stack of flyers. Please take it to different neighborhoods. Get this information out. They have satellite sites. They're actually going to different locations to help people fill out all their paperwork, as well as the clerk's office every day is assisting with the application process. Lots of savings that people can qualify for. So that's number one. Also, the communications team just wants to thank everyone that subscribed to our .news that comes out every Tuesday at 10 o'clock. Dom Hampton in the back, wave your hand, Dom. He's responsible for sending that out to you all. So please, it's a blue tab on the bottom of our website. We want to make sure that everyone stays connected this year. So please make sure you're subscribed to that. And also there's a huge stack of these magnets
That just kind of lists some important numbers that you might want to keep on your refrigerator. We have lots more that we can share with Nina. Make sure everyone gets these, and we will be coming out with another version that will have additional UG numbers, just community numbers that just to kind of keep everyone. I'm moving fast to this part. Also, February 3rd, I don't see Desiree from Transit here, but just want to give everyone a heads up. February 3rd, the new Northeast Micro Transit location and launch will take into effect. There's some flyers, but I just realized I brought all Spanish. So if you speak Spanish, great. But otherwise, I will make sure Nina gets the English one as well. And we will have more information on our website, but it's a great way. It's kind of like an Uber service for $3. You can go literally from the Northeast area all the way out to the Legends, and it will also connect to KU literally for $3 flat rate. Really great service that we're really trying to push out. Also, I'm moving really fast. Okay, K-State Extension Program. I only have one of these, but I'll make sure Mina gets this. There's, I think starting off next week, there is a grant writing program, a grant writing event that they're putting in. They really fill up there. And I did hear from Denise from the K-State Extension that if anyone has an issue with paying, or if you know of anyone that's interested in really understanding grants, there is a scholarship available for people that cannot pay that fee. So please reach out to them early to make sure that people get in these classes because they fill up very fast. Moving fast. Okay. Next, we have the Black History. I'm part of the Black History Committee with the UG. We provide scholarships to KCKCC, Donnelly, and area high school students. So we're having our celebration and fundraising ceremony February 15th. Information is listed in the Livable Neighborhoods newsletter and on the UG website. Even if you can't purchase a ticket, if you just want to provide a donation, these scholarships have that financial burden taken away. Then the last thing from the mayor's office, Miss Irene couldn't be there, but the mayor is currently taking anyone. It's the free mayor's prayer breakfast on Wednesday, February 26th at Memorial Hall in the ballroom. Free breakfast. It does start off at 7 o'clock a.m. This is third year doing it, but it's a really great way to come out, get some good prayer. We have a lot going on in our community. Like I said, it's free, but you do have to RSVP just so they can make sure they have enough food for everyone that wants to attend. So. There's a lot of talking. Sorry, I'm moving fast. Any questions or yes?
One thing I want to add is subscribe to our dot news. Also, we are active on social media, so Facebook, Instagram, Nextdoor. There we put a lot of timely, quick updates on those platforms. One thing I do want to mention is we enjoy your feedback, we enjoy your comments, especially when there's an issue or concern. But I also want to encourage you that if there is an issue with trash pickup or I know with the snowstorm and everything like that, be sure to submit a 311 report or go on to my Wyco app and submit those reports that way. We get a lot of things on socials and messages, and it's not an official reporting system. But it's important that 311 knows if there's an issue going on because they collect that data and they can go back in the back end and fix those processes. And so we hear your concerns on socials and we do our best to take that and send them to the right departments. But please make sure you go through 311 for any reports or concerns or issues.
Okay, and I'm sorry, I do have one more thing. So we know that it's extremely cold. We've been really pushing out information about our overnight warming center and our daytime warming shelters. So please, we've been working with Crosslines as well as it says 645 Nebraska, which is the Willa Gill Center. They are currently needing any kind of breakfast items. If you anything that you can donate that will help, because people have to be out of the center by 7 a.m. And we know it's still extremely cold during that time, but they get breakfast to go. So if you can donate, if you're at Sam's, Walmart, Target, can donate some breakfast items, anything like that. There's information in the newsletter to make sure that we can get some items donated to people that are in need during this cold weather. So thank you, and that's all that I have. Yes.
Very quick comment. I want to congratulate you all and Livable Neighbors for how well you communicate with the community. It's there's no other place around that does that as good a job.
Thank you.
I have a question about the tax rebates.
Yes.
Is that for any senior or only homeowners?
It is different. So there's a BPU pilot relief. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. BPU pilot relief, property tax rebate, utility tax rebate, and then there's a sales tax rebate. And so they have different qualifications, but for different programs, there's different guidelines. And so we have all of that outlined on our website, and the clerk's office does an amazing job. They literally help you fill out every application because some people qualify for more than just one. Some people only qualify for one of the programs, but we've had some that literally qualify for everything. So please, if you have any questions, it's all on our website, like the exact detail, but the clerk's office, they will make sure and provide all the detail and help you get everything filled out. So
You have handouts. so
yes, sir.
everybody
Give
has
you
that.
my copy. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good question. Thank you. Next up is the Neighborhood Resource Center. Our rep is out sick. I hope you feel better. So we'll just move on to UG Planning and Urban Design.
Gunnar Hand, Director of Planning and Urban Design. I'll just say for the sake of time, I'll stick around. If anybody has any questions for me, let me know. Also, real quick plug, if anybody has any desire to have myself or another planning staff at your neighborhood meeting for about a project, a concern, an issue, anything, please let me know. I'm very fond of giving planning 101 presentations, so I can do it too.
Remember you said that now.
I've been saying it for years, so I'll keep saying it.
We have Wyandotte County Health Department. Public.
I think that's me. I don't really have any updates. I'm sorry. Let's restart that. I'm Shelby. I'm the Violence Prevention Coordinator of the Health Department. I'm in the Community Health Division, so a lot of my updates are CHIP related or community health related. So regarding our CHIP, we just finished up year one of our 2024 to 2028. That's 5 years. CHIP. So we're about to start our second year of that CHIP. So we'll have revised booklets for everyone once those are printed. I think we're looking at March because we have to get through our revision process, but I'll be sure to bring those at the March meeting. And then we do have a couple of positions that we're looking to either post or actively hiring. So if anyone's interested in working at the health department in community health, be sure to check those out. And then I think my last update is because a lot of my updates are so community health centered or CHIP centered. I'm going to work with our internal communications team and our leadership to make sure they are also getting updates on some of the other programs that are happening in the health department. So if you have any specific interest in any specific programs, my email is, there you go, S Woodward, WOODWARD @wycokck.org. Shoot me an email and I'll get with our comms team and our leadership to make sure that I'm giving you all the updates that you want. Any questions about the health department? Perfect.
Also, if you want to read more about how year one of the CHIP went, there's booklets on the table that I brought and you're free to take them. And then last but certainly not least for government departments, we have KCK Environmental Services.
Good morning, everybody. Jeff Miles, the Director of Kansas City, Kansas Environmental Services, where if you don't know me, I'm for the utility that takes care of wastewater, stormwater, and flood management in the community. Just a couple of topics today that I wanted to, just as a reminder, we set our rates for the entire year going on right now. So December, January, February, March, save water. Obviously that saves you money on the BPU side, but if you save water, it saves you wastewater costs throughout the year. So the less water you use during these 4 months, the more money you save throughout the year. Strategic Communications is working on an educational video on this topic that we should be launching here in the next few days. So we're excited to do that as well. I'm going to echo off what Nick said from BPU as well. Community outreach. I think I did 12 of them last year. I'm going to outdo that this year. I recognize a lot of the faces in the room. Please involve us. We want to come out and speak as much as we can. And then just touching on community outreach. Food trucks, real hot topic right now, right? You guys might have seen some of the interviews and stuff. I just want to kind of give you a backstory there. We are, as I mentioned in those interviews, education is our biggest tool for these types of situations. We want them to be successful. As I said in those interviews, I eat up there. I enjoy the food as well. And that's for our entire community. We want to just educate. So we are in the 3rd week of next month, right before we reopen 18th and Central. To food trucks. We're gonna have a big education meeting in the evening. We haven't picked the date yet. It's not open for the public, just the food truck owners. We're gonna have many stakeholders there to help them be successful. And we're gonna spend the whole evening, we're gonna invite them to bring their food trucks in so we can inspect them and help coach them on some of the things they could be doing better to help the environment. So again, that's to help them be successful and get that area open back up. Lastly, I'm going to echo of the health department. We have a lot of vacancies within our utility as well. We started a program with Kansas City, Kansas Community College. Thank you to them. Fabio, she's helping spearhead this project for an apprenticeship for our utility. So we're very close to launching that, and hopefully we can whittle down from our 22% vacancy rate that we're at right now. So that's a lot of overtime when you run a department. And so the men and women are out there, you know, taking away weekends and evenings away from their family. We want to get fully staffed and cut down that overtime budget as well. So that's all I had. Thank you for this opportunity.
And I'd like to have one more municipal update, Parks and Rec.
Yay. Good morning, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Shaya Lockett. I'm the recreation manager with the Parks and Recreation Department. And I'm really excited to be back at Livable Neighborhoods. Our department has not been represented here in a while, but like many of the other departments within the unified government, we are really focusing on community outreach and community engagement this year. For 2025, that's one of our goals. Just to update, for 2024, the Parks Department did $8.9 million worth of investments in our parks last year, which is the most we've done ever, I would say. I don't know about like 20, 30 years ago, but I would say that's probably the largest investment the Parks Department has seen. That's included 8 new pickleball courts, 3 tennis courts, 5 new basketball courts, a new parking lot, and 2 new trails in the park system. For us, it's really important that we update the amenities in the park so that they can be active and people, the community can go and have safe places to go. We know an active park is a safer park, so that's one of the things we're working on. As well as we have increased our activities and events that we're having throughout the year. Our next event that we have is our Someone Special Dance. So if you have a young person in your life that you want to take to a dance for the low cost of only $5, that includes an adult and a child to be able to come on February 7th to Joe Amayo Community Center. We have a DJ. This year, last year we had chicken tenders from Cane's. This year we'll have Pizza Hut pizza. And it's just a really good time for engagement with the special young person in your life. So feel free to bring them out. Registration is available online. And then I look forward to hearing moving forward. Yeah, are there any questions?
No, I'll make a comment. So Shaya, you have done a yeoman's job over the last 2 years. It's just amazing. And the amount of youngins that have been brought in to be involved in activities that we didn't have before. And you have done a whole lot on a little. Thank you.
You have a newsletter or contact number I can get you first.
Me personally, yes. I can, my direct number is 913-573-8304, sorry. And I can give you my email address as well. It's slockett, LOCK.
That's too much.
Okay. Well, the phone, you can reach me by phone. Or reach out to the Parks Department and our team. They always know how to get in touch with me. Shaya. Yes.
Okay, we are going to move quickly into our community announcements. So if you have an announcement and you're in person, please come up to the front, say your organization, your name, and your announcement, and limited, please. And if you're online, you have an announcement, if you'll just put it in the chat and I'll read it for you.
I'm not gonna try to get up there, but I'll turn around here. I'm Paul Marks. I'm with the American Red Cross, the local chapter here in Greater Kansas City. And we've been involved here with Livable Neighborhoods for just over a year, I believe. And it's been quite an eye-opener for us, and we're glad to be participants. As many of you know, we have been working with the fire department with smoke detectors and getting those installed, and as well as blood drives, which is very important to the entire community. As you know, we're all aware of the fire yesterday over in Independence. I'd like to share, I'm not trying to toot our horn, but I'd like to share with you an update from our executive director, Joanne Woody, who right now is at the apartment complex helping out there. And she writes, "Good morning, friends. I'm sure you've seen the news clips from yesterday's tragic fire at the Indy Ridge Apartments in Independence. So I wanted to touch base and give you a very brief update. Our disaster services team was notified very shortly after the fire department arrived. We had a team arriving on site at 8:30. Our team met with property management to verify how many families would be impacted by the fire, 20 different households, and begin talking with those who were available to better understand what their immediate needs might be. Unfortunately, our support also included being there for the immediate family of those who perished in the fire. Our team was also instrumental in coordinating emotional support to a family member who was in Rolla and had to be notified of the tragedy. That coordination required working with our Central and Northern Missouri chapter to dispatch one of their volunteers to a meeting location to be there when the young woman was notified of the fire. We did stand up a shelter, even though only 3 individuals needed that as a safety net. And today, as I said, volunteers are at the clubhouse, again, helping out with families to begin the recovery process. The Independence community is rallying fiercely around the family and how a community comes together from any type of crisis. We've had many groups coming forward to donate stuff, but the message remains that financial support to the organizations meeting the family's needs are more impactful and effective. One local Independence company raised over $500 just yesterday, not necessarily for us. So bottom line is, we're here. We're trying to be part of the community. We are part of the community. We live here, and we want to support you. As all the other presenters have said, if you'd like to have somebody come and talk to your organization about how the Red Cross works within the community, I'm here. I can give you my card. I can give you our executive director's card, and we'd be glad to come out and help. So just basically thank you to Livable Neighborhoods, to Unified Government people for the great work you guys are doing here in Wyandotte County.
My name is Connie Brown Collins. I'm the founder and executive director of Voter Rights Network of Wyandotte County. What is Voter Rights Network? We work on issues that impact us directly in our neighborhoods. I know we're all concerned about our services, about policies, about all of the issues that impact us directly. Our organization mainly works at the state level on those policies and laws that will impact us here in Wyandotte County. Things like schools, things like voting and our voting rights, things like our health care. So we take a look, we follow those issues at the state and in Topeka, and we bring the information and education back to those of us in Wyandotte County that are interested in those issues and maybe would like to take some action, following through, contacting your legislators about those issues and letting them know your opinion, your perspective on how they should proceed in Topeka. We're hosting a webinar, and it's this evening. It's online. Normally, when we have good weather, these are done in person, and one was scheduled for the 9th of January, a legislative town hall. in which our legislators from Topeka come and talk to us about what's happening in Topeka that impacts us. Well, that was canceled. And so our organization is putting it online tonight at 6 p.m. And so we'll have legislators there that represent Wyandotte County. They will talk to us about bills, about policies that are already in the pipeline, even though the session just started on the 13th. Already in the pipeline, and they affect us. They will affect us greatly. So here's a sheet. You can go to the link at the bottom. You can, if you want me to email it to you, give me your email address and I will email it to you, and you can go to the link and sign up and get the link for the webinar this evening. Any questions?
Someone was able to do that, but we can really.
Okay. Yes.
I just want to make a comment. I went to the legislative session town hall last year. It's very good. I want to recommend everyone get online because it's very good to understand kind of what's coming statewide.
Thank you so much.
All right, good morning, everyone. Don Ash, trustee of Kansas City, Kansas Community College. Lots of great things going on at the college, but it is a busy time of year, as has already been pointed out. You know, all of the legislative advocacy happens in January and February and for sure in March. And so it's the same way for us at the college. We have already been to the state. We'll continue to work with legislators, state legislators. I have another trustee colleague here with us today, Linda Hoskins Sutton. Raise your hand, Linda, for those of you that don't know her. She and I and a couple other members of college will be going to Washington, D.C. next month and advocating there with all of our federal delegation. But today I have some information sheets that I'm happy to share with any of you after the meeting, if you like one, you know, so that you can learn more about your community college. One is a front and back, what we call a fast facts sheet. It's got pretty much most everything you want to know, particularly on the economic impact. And then there is one specifically about the economic value of the community college in our community in Wyandotte County. There are 19 community colleges in the state of Kansas, and all of us are economic drivers and economic engines, if you will, in our communities. You want to know how your community college is? This sheet will help you understand it. And then there is an updated booklet. It's like 3 or 4 pages regarding our downtown health education and wellness center. We're in partnership with Community America, Slope Health, Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools, and the college. So that project's going up at 7th and State. That's what the construction site is down there. And the weather's hampering, you know, things here in recent weeks, but we are getting ready to do foundational work and then, you know, start going vertical with that. To date, we have raised a little over $40 million of other people's money, not taxpayer money, other people's money for that project. And I'm aware of about $3 to $4 million that we're just waiting on final word that we're getting it, you know, and that it's coming. So it's a great project, but I have these fact sheets. Last thing I'm gonna say, I'm gonna sit down then. Our enrollment in terms of head count, we just had a board meeting Tuesday evening and they reported to us that our enrollment in terms of head count is up about 7% from spring of 2024. And it's up about 11% since spring of 2023. So we have been coming back from COVID slowly, but we're getting there. So much workforce development things going on there. People are coming for certificates and other things, you know, get better paying jobs. Today, 11,300 jobs available in Wyandotte County with an average wage of $59,000 a year. We're there to train them up. That's by and large, we're doing partner with many corporations to do that. So the head count is up and the FTE or the credit hours are up 11%. Spring 25 over spring 24. So that's great news for the college. I'll be around after the meeting. If you want some of this information, come see me. Question. Quickly, I don't want to take more time than the DA. The 7% increase in enrollment, is that local or is it outside the community? It's everybody we serve, so yes. It's everybody we serve, and we serve everybody all over the globe. We have international.
Real quick. Tuition, is it free or?
No.
That I have that correct information?
No.
What is the tuition?
Yeah, it is not free, but there are various grants and scholarships available to assist and to help students. And we are the most competitive in terms of cost, lower than our competitors in the metro areas. So in Kansas, we have Johnson County Community College just to the south. You have Metropolitan Community College and a couple of them on the Missouri side. So
thank you.
It's very competitive. Okay. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Marla Dickinson. I am a CRA mortgage loan officer with US Bank, but I'm standing today as a incoming board member with CHWC. How many are familiar with the organization that's off of South 14? With CHWC, there are a number of different programs for first-time home buyers. If an individual needs assistance with credit or building credit, there are certified housing counselors. There's also small loans. There's a number of different resources. And I just want to bring attention to the residents. If you could spread the word and get information out about the various resources. We're also, there's an opportunity to take a pulse for interest in our board. Further diversifying the board. So if you have an interest or you want to learn more about board positions or even subcommittees within CHWC, please see me. I'll leave my contact information. I'm very strong on breaking barriers, finding resources for individuals. Housing is my passion. I know there were a number of organizations here today. I was taking numerous notes on individuals I can reach out to. But I'm all open and I'm a sponge for absorbing. I look forward to continuing to show up at these meetings and engaging. I absolutely look forward to connecting with many of you and doing what we can for our community. Any questions? My phone number is 816-349-9485. Thank you.
Good morning, friends. I'm Sarah Olvet. I just stepped into the ED role at Rosedale Development Association and just wanted to very quickly tell you about a meeting that we're having next Tuesday at our offices at 1401 Southwest Boulevard. It's regarding the string of burglaries that we've had along the Southwest Boulevard corridor. It's been extremely impactful to the small businesses that were broken into because it happened during the same week of the storm. So there's a lot of business loss. So I would encourage you this weekend, if you have a chance, to come on down to Rosedale, go to Dagwood's Garden House Cafe. They do coffee. Sagebrush is a newish cocktail bar. And we also have Posados, which is a pizza place down by 14th Street, and Caparoli's. And then if you have anything that you feel like you could lend to this meeting and this conversation on Tuesday, we invite you all to attend. I'm Sarah with an H at rosedale.org.
We have a couple of announcements online. The first is from Elizabeth, and she says, grandparents for gun safety. Excuse me. We'll have our monthly meeting on Monday, January 27th from 4 to 5:30 p.m. at Colonial Church in Prairie Village. The address is 7039 Mission Road. Maria says Reuseful is hosting our third repair cafe at Nat Ross Community Center in Owen Park on February 1st, where you can bring your broken items to be fixed for free. And this is over. You love free? We'll also have a clothing swap, so clean out your closets and dressers and bring your clean, gently used clothing to trade with others to freshen up your wardrobe. And again, no cost. And if you're online, you can click that link for more information. I will come back to you, Frida. I'll email you personally. Lauren says for a legislative update. Okay, never mind. I will answer these questions. Don't leave. Thank you all for coming. That's our community announcements. If you did not sign in on your way in, please sign in on your way out. Thank you for spending your January morning with me.
No, I didn't see that. No, thank you.
And on the back.
They're planning.
No, I appreciate it.